What's going on, guys? I think we're live here. Can you guys hear me? Mic check. Mic check. All right, cool. Let's go here and go. I'm live. Going. Alright guys, we're live here at MRNA.com. Setting everything up here. Let me go ahead and post everything on social media quick. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day. Hope you guys had a great trading year. You know, that's it's been one hell of a year, guys. One that we'll never forget. Without any question. We will never forget 2020. It'll be a story that we tell our kids, our grandkids, their grandkids. I mean, this year will truly never be forgotten. And so, with that being said, it's been a crazy year, you know, and it's been a blessing of a year for me. It's been my breakout year as a trader. It's been my eye-opener. It's been my focus up. You know, it's been my focuser. It's been basically just everything that I needed 2020 to be was great, except for just, you know, the whole world shut down on me. And that's kind of the unfortunate side. All right, I'm going to post that. Then I'm going to go live on TikTok. All right, guys, there's that. All right, we're live on that. Got my little stand here, which actually works out great. I'm going to go live on Instagram. Sorry that my camera froze. All right, there's that. All right, guys. We're going to kind of let everybody trickle on in here. Can you hear me, Jordan? Can you guys hear me on stream on YouTube? Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Can I get a mic check on YouTube? Mike. Mike. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let me try and take this off here. Mic check. Hello? Wait, let me try something. I can't hear you guys. Someone was asking me questions, wasn't able to answer them. What's going on, guys? Trying to get everything set up here. Mike, can you hear me? I can't hear you for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm trying to get the mods on here, and it's not working. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, Jordan? I can't hear you though for whatever reason. You can hear me? I can't hear you now. Should we try and phone call in here? Mike. Mike. You guys hear me on YouTube? 1 second, guys. 1 second. I'm gonna get everything set up. Mitchell's FaceTiming you. I don't know, Ichi. I'm trying to figure out stuff here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure everything out here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get everybody on here. Happy New Year, Sirius. Steve, Happy New Year. What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you on my phone now.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, at least we got Jordan going. We'll have to figure out how we're gonna get everything going here, but
What's your number? I can hear myself.
Can you add him in here?
Yeah, I'll try. Okay, what's your number?
Or should we do a phone call?
Here you go. Can you just type it out and send it to me on DM?
Here,
I know.
what?
It's because I'm connected to everything right now.
Let me call you.
Yeah.
All right. Can you guys hear Jordan on stream, everybody?
Mic check.
Can you guys hear Jordan on stream, everybody? Okay, you can hear him pretty clearly? All right. So just add Ariel into the combo then. You should be good to go after you add him.
All right, yo, let's do FaceTime audio. I think it's clear.
It's clear? Okay.
Yeah. Let's try that.
Okay. You gonna add him? All right, guys. So, yeah. So what a year it's been. I kind of wanted to get Ariel and Jordan on here to kind of go over the year that was. Two traders that have really been crushing it over the past, especially 6 months or so. And it's been a good year for me as well. All around, we've learned a lot this year. We've learned that you can't take just going to a movie or going out on a cruise or traveling or any of that for granted at all. It's looking back on this year, you're looking at it from a year of I just never even fathom. I remember seeing this COVID thing in China. And, I really thought that it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. And, I remember thinking about it and being this is going to be something that, just passes by. I never, ever would have thought that, this was going to turn into something like this. So, I don't even know what to say about 2020 other than I'm super grateful, but I am very, very, very excited to move on from this year. Over the course of the trading year, guys, it was a ton of volatility, a ton of price action, and at the end of the day, guys, this was an insane year. You couldn't. Okay, I can just go. Let's start highlighting some things, right? Hertz, went bankrupt, right? They went from 40 cents all the way back up to $6. What was the other one? The other one was not just Hertz, but Luckin Coffee. Luckin Coffee went bankrupt as well, and they ended up struggling and but they had huge bounce plays. I was watching Luckin Coffee today, LKNC. At the end of the day, guys, this is one that, you just got to go back and look at and say, hey, it was a crazy year. It was a volatile year, okay? Everybody knows that. Everybody who would have seen the stock market can blatantly see, how the year went, right? And so, yeah. Sorry, I'm posting that. Just want to make sure everybody's on here. And exactly, the strategy is everything. Sorry, I'm back live on TikTok. The strategy is everything. But it just made me realize, not to take things for granted. Not to take anything for granted, really. This year was the definition of not taking anything for granted ever, And, this was a huge year for just the world. Not just for trading, but the world. Just continuing to learn on what's going on out there and how things are, getting better, how things are getting worse, and what kind of as humans, we always evolve, right? We always evolve, and we always try and get better and make sure we have things running, right? So we saw a huge move in electrical cars this year. We saw a huge move in tech. We saw a huge move in it was kind of a slower year for the weed stocks. But there was a lot of, moves that were out there throughout the year, looking back. And yeah, being up I'm not going to lie, being up almost $7 million this year in one trading year, it feels good. It feels amazing. Looking at that number and being like, how much did you make this year? Well, I made about $7 million this year, just under that. It's pretty insane. And I made $5.3 million of that, all from $1,000, 261 business days ago. And I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to say, oh, look at me. I'm some crazy guru. At the end of the day. So, that is what it is. It is what it is. It's a great feeling, but the thing is, the reality is, I took every day as a new day. I literally did. And looking back and saying, wow, I made almost $7 million this year, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, but at the end of the day, I didn't just look at it as I'm making millions. I looked at it from every day is a new day. Every day I'm going to continue to get better. Every day is going to be a new day and continue to make every day better than yesterday. And so, it didn't just happen overnight. Today, it was great to end the year up over $250,000 on a short that I want to cover in my stream, ACY. Somebody was asking me about the borrow fees. It cost me about $13,000 to get the borrows for ACY. And so ACY was a big short for me today. I shorted it in a 1377 average. And I covered it up at the 994 average. So I made a huge killing on that. I had a 56,000 share short. And that was my big first short trade of 2020. But yeah, so, it's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy year, to say the least. And, at the end of the year, it's been a fun year. It's been a fun year looking back and realizing that. Oh, sorry, they're calling me. So yeah, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get everybody going on. I'm trying to get, making sure that, I got everything rolling. But yeah, crazy year, guys. And I never expected to go into this year, I never expected to go into this year like that. And it's just been crazy. I don't have any words. I truly haven't really added up my trading profits, but it's been an insane year. And I want to continue to work and get better and continue to grind and make every day better than yesterday. And 2021 is going to be a great year. I have huge goals. I have huge potential upside on my trading. And I'm literally going to just continue to push for the stars. My goal, I want to now take this challenge and turn it into, 30 million. And I know I can do it. I know if I continue to work hard, if I continue to grind, I continue to, show up every day and, make sure I trade it as good as I can, then I think that it's very plausible. And going into this year, I really didn't think, my goal was I think my goal at the beginning of the year was to try and make $3 million at the end of the year. But, I more than doubled that. And I think that going into 2021, it can be incredible. But I don't want to talk all about my profits because this is not just, I make all this money. You have to realize I lost about half my net worth when I started trading. Okay, you have to realize I put in 16-hour days when I first started and almost quit trading forever. You guys don't get to see the downside or the hardship or what I went through to get here. It didn't just happen overnight. By any means. This didn't just happen overnight. This didn't just happen in one day. This happened over time. I've been sizing up over my career bigger and bigger and bigger. And I feel more and more confident as I continue to push, continue to grind, continue to motivate myself. But I'm putting it on record. This year going forward, I want to try and turn the 1,000 into 30 million by the end of 2021. And we're just going to continue to push from that. So ACY was my big trade today. I kind of wanted to cover that. And then I want to go over Ariel, one of my students, and Jordan, one of my students as well, to kind of go over their year and their fully ups and downs. And then we're going to kind of chat and go over kind of our year and what kind of fun we had, what kind of downsides we had. I was down about $190,000 in one day. It was my worst day of this year. There was one day this year where I was down about $185,000 and I made $350 that day. There was days where, I had 6 or 7 red days in a row. There was days where I had, 10 red days in a row. 10 green days in a row. So the goal is here, guys, is just be consistent. Trade your plan, trade your process, trade your strategy, and continue to build on that. Build out your strategies, build out your plan. And even if you do learn from me, even if you do learn from somebody else, I recommend learning from everyone, not just me or not just this person or that person. Learn from everyone, right? And then grow on it. Grow on your goals, grow on your, your plan, your process, and your strategy, and never. It's like going on 18 and you're up 9 shots, right? Don't go into the 18th hole just trying to hold on to your win. I always go into the 18th hole trying to do what got me there and just continue to play my normal strategies, my normal game. I don't just set the bar here and keep it there. I continue to work and continue to grind to make every day better than yesterday. And so yeah, I'll go over my trade today, guys, on ACY, and then I'm gonna tell you, and then I'm gonna let Ariel and Jordan come on and have them go over their year. Okay. So you guys can see $275,000 in total today. We traded 1.5 million shares, 790,000 equity. So today, guys, was definitely a rock solid trade on this one. Let's see here, ACY. And this book, I wanted to hold it overnight, but I'm not going to pay the fees for that. So I actually longed this one out of the gates right in here. If we go back and look, you guys can see. So here's my big trade on ACY. So you could see I'm short 56,000 shares at 13.77.4 average, and I covered up my short. Where is it? 994. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Close price, 994. So just about $4 a share on about a $600,000 position, and we nailed it. I'll show you where I covered it, and then the first trade out of the gates, I tried to go So I longed it at 708, and then got out at 804, but I traded it a couple more times throughout the day on the long side, and then I started to flip short. So here's ACY. Okay, and so I basically so I played it out here, and then I'm like, okay, this has gone too far. We got a dip, and then this thing halted straight up. Now and then I re-longed it right in here at like 11:10, and then once we got over 12, I scaled out. Once we got over 12, I started waiting for 13s, 1350s, and 14s to try and take a short. I started adding short, like 1267. Then I started adding up here. Then we had a big dip down. Then I re-added short, risking off this $14 area. And then once we consolidated and ripped back up, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to, this is SSR. A lot of times they bring it back up. They have one more high a day, and then they slam it, and that's the top. Well, I gave myself 10,000 shares short, 1470 range. So my average on this entire trade with 56,000 shares was 1377. And then I basically just held it with confidence because this is a strategy that I use. I usually know how to play the long side of it, but I wasn't able to get enough shares because it's so light volume. But where the volume was on the short side because you could see there tons and tons of volume there. And then I held this one throughout the day. And my goal was to cover anything under 10. So literally, right here is where I covered. Literally, this 56,000 shares is right here. So anything under 10 I was going to cover into. And so we got under $10 and I started covering, and this thing like came all the way back up, roaring. I took one little short here, covered in here, one little short in here, and I covered right in here. And then this thing pushed back up and I started to short, and I ended up getting way too much size on the short. And then I saw, once this thing broke down, I said my goal was under 12 with that much size. I didn't realize how much size I had on. I didn't realize how much size I had on, and that got a little scary. I wanted to hold it into the close, but I didn't want to have like a Happy New Year kind of squeeze out and just get this random move. But this was a bounce play. Bounce play parabolic. I usually play these to the long side, but there wasn't enough volume. I played a little bit too. I made about 20,000 long, but mainly short. So this is a parabolic play. And then it came on down. Okay. So yeah. And then I started to reshort it. Just like ART, right? So ART, guys, was a parabolic play. It went parabolic again today, and I would reshort that in there. I just didn't see it. But yeah, so that's that, guys. So I want to go ahead and let Ariel and Jordan come on and talk about the year that was. Give them an opportunity for a couple of students to come on and give them just kind of the year that was. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this call here.
And then, of course,
all right. You guys are live. All right, so we have Jordan and Ariel on here, and they're gonna. So let me know if you guys can hear them, but they're gonna go on here. Let's see. So Ariel, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys hear Ariel and Jordan on YouTube? Can you guys hear them? Okay, all right, you guys are good. So, you guys are both snacking away, eh?
Oh, yeah. You know, I was hungry.
I know you were. Okay.
Took a nap, you know?
Oh, yeah, your second one today. It's beautiful. But anywho, okay, so we have Ariel and Jordan on, and for some reason Jordan just went out. Oh, there we go. He's kind of back on. So, yeah, you guys can just go at it. Go ahead and recap kind of your year that was. You know, I want to give a big shout out to Ariel today for hitting 6 figures on his trading account. He did it today, so congrats, man. That's sick. And I know it's just a start. So, but yeah, I want to give Ariel a shout out for that, and then Jordan for just one hell of a year, man. You know, we've been grinding and talking back and forth for over 2 years, and you know, it's good to see you have this crazy year that I want everybody to hear about. So, anyways, you guys can go ahead and go over your year. And, yeah, so whoever wants to go. Nobody jump at the bit here. Somebody can go.
Well, yeah, go ahead. I'll kick it off. So, basically for myself, as a few of you guys may or may not know, I started trading full-time June 1st. I actually picked up on trading in April. And that's when I actually picked up Cam's course. That's just kind of when I started studying and started trading like part-time, small account. You know, I had a $14,000 account that I funded TD Ameritrade with. And from there, for like about those first 2 months, it was just really studying, taking lots of losers, just trying to get it figured out, and then hitting a couple of decent trades that were actually your overnight ideas that I held for a little bit, which is MARK, and that was actually the big one. Once that one got me close enough to get to PDT, or over PDT, once I was at like 25,000, that was a really big learning experience, because you realize how hard day trading actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take a couple of more losers and work my way out of PDT and not be able to day trade for a while. And it was just pretty much a battle until September. And then September is really when I started to pick up actually on what Jordan was doing. And that was, scalping certain levels. And, from there, then I, start to recap and kind of go over your course a little bit more. And then I started to trade with a bit more conviction. And then, pretty much to go into it sometime around, October, November, I started to do about $4,000 or $5,000 average kind of a week. And then, it took me having an incredible week in my eyes. I made like $15,000 in a week. And then it was my first 5-figure week. And now that was really cool, except that following week, so I had like a $15,000 week, and then that following week, that Monday, I go on to like take a $5,500 loser, won't forget it. Tuesday was break even, and Wednesday I was down $10,000 that day. I turned that day around when GLA heading crazy, and I caught all the sympathies that ran behind it, and I made like $13,000 in that last hour. And from like that moment forward, that feeling of like knowing what it was to be down a lot and see that big red and be able to know that it could just be turned right around with one good trade. Basically, my mindset became is I need to be more patient and wait for better trades and wait for better setups that fit my eye, instead of just trying to be in a trade to be in a trade. And that's what happened that day. And pretty much since that day forward, last week I had a career week. I did 25,000, and this week I did about 26,000.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
It's kind of crazy. I had done about just short of, I think, right around $55,000 up to that point. So to go from there to, $50,000 in the last 2 weeks, I don't exactly know what's been in the sauce, but I've had two 5-figure days this week, and hopefully that just means that, we're trading with a bit more conviction. We're trading with a bit more proper size and comfortable size, right? I'm not taking anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. And I think that's what's really important, and recognizing a good setup and then getting myself into that setup, with a healthy average and a healthy share size is really important for me. And not just being in a trade because I don't believe in it. I have to believe that it's going to go higher and it's got an agenda and a place to be. And if I trade like that, that's how I've realized my biggest winners lately is just trading with that conviction, kind of like you've talked about before. But just, again, not just buying, something random, but buying it because market sentiment might be there, and just so like these little tiny changes is what's helped me. And so hopefully we'll carry that into 2021. But, I'll take, $100,000 for my first trading year, any year. So we'll focus on next year.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's just, it's huge. It psychs me up that you made 6 figures on today being the last day of the year and 50,000 in the past. You said 2 weeks?
Yeah, 25,000 last week and 27,000 this week.
So
26,000 this week.
So what do you? I mean, I know you were trying to figure out kind of your secret sauce, but like, what was some of the bigger trades you made over the past 2 weeks that you kind of felt like you were highly convicted in them?
Well, I had 2,000 shares of XPEV the other day, and I was even on margin, and that was almost my first 5-figure trade. I made $9,500 on them.
What made you strongly convicted into that? I'm curious.
So I had kind of seen that they were a little bit beaten up, and I knew that they had news. And then right at the end of the day, I had watched it, dip sub 44 once, and then as it reapproached 44, I saw again this for you, you'll understand. So I saw a nice little heavy wall of bidders at 44, and I saw the volume increasing, so I knew there was refreshing bidders there, and I cracked under 44 for just a second, and that's when I got in for my 2,000 shares, and I noticed that 1 minute volume bar was bigger than the ones next to it, which basically just let me know that people were willing to step in at that price, as well as myself, and so I really knew that I was at probably a bottom, and I ended up catching like $3.50 a share on my first 1,000 shares until they asked me to cover that margin. So I sold 1,000, and then
they asked you to cover it.
Yeah,
That's funny. I never heard of that. Wait, what brokerage?
TD.
Oh, I hate that. Anyway, keep going. All right, yeah.
So then, and then the next 1,000 shares. When again, I had a 44.01 average, and the next 1,000 shares I sold over the break of 50. So that was a nice trade. And from there, really, it was just the feeling of going from having a really nice week and then blowing it up the whole next week, and like just kind of being so disgusted, but then just sitting there saying, well, I'm not going to walk away from the computer, even though I'm down $10,000 right now. And for somebody who's only got a $50,000 trading account, that kind of hurts. And so, but GLS, I went crazy. I prepared myself for moments like that, and then I was just looking for what was going to go next. And I put myself in the very best spot, and I went on to make like, I don't remember if it was like 7,700 on GOVX or something, and then another, I forget all the ones that ran, but I ended up making like $13,000 in that power hour. And I remember just having like this moment of saying, holy shit, I can't believe that happened. But that just told me what? You need to be more patient and wait for what the market gives you. Don't just get into a trade just to be in a trade. Let something set up. That's why, like, now I've actually stepped away from trading the open so quickly. Unless it's like I'm watching it right out of the gates. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of let things set up, give it 10, 15 minutes or 5 minutes, 3, whatever it takes for a setup to be in my wheelhouse, whether it be a washout in the morning or whatever it might be. And all these things, man, I've kind of learned from you and your videos, and I've learned from a lot of the other great traders that we have in our room.
Yeah, not just me, but everyone.
Just post tons of ideas, from Mr. Bottom Bouncer to Trader 9 to 5 to Jordan to Richie to Stock and 19. I mean, we got tons of guys in our Josh. We've got so many guys in our room. The list goes on and on.
And we're only going to continue to grow. But so Amanda said, how much experience did you have before Cam's course? Real quick, before we get to Jordan here.
Zero. Nothing, man. For anybody who doesn't know my story, without shame, I say I did 18 months in prison for some weed. And I didn't know anything really about stock trading, period. I mean, I did. I knew what the markets were. My stepdad had a portfolio. We all know the blue chips, the this, that. But, I always thought, well, how are you supposed to make money in the market unless you're wealthy, right? Little did I know. And I got out of the markets with all my friends in their Robinhood accounts and all this shit. And I was just like, okay, what's everybody doing? All right, let me look into this. Okay. So my stepdad was like, well, look into TD Ameritrade. I looked into them, funded it. Found you on Stock Twits. I mean, honestly, the rest is history.
That's crazy.
I pulled the trigger, and I didn't even really have a lot of money. I mean, I did, from what I got in trouble for, but it wasn't like, again, this is money I have to live on, and I can't just blow it, because it's not like some excessive funds or anything like that. I'm 29 years old. You can't just be asking your mother and father for money every single day, right? You gotta take care of your own shit.
And even though, and like you might have
until I found you.
Go ahead.
I didn't know not a whole lot of trading before I found you, but I'll tell you what, man, I put in 12 and 14-hour days, and I treat it like a career. So for anybody who thinks that trading is anything but that, it's like sadly mistaken, because there's no way you're gonna get good. And maybe people could do it at a way slower pace and just do it over 5 or 10 years, but I get asked a lot, wait, how is it that you're making money? How is it that, I have a lot of people that say there's no way you're doing what you're doing, and I'm sitting there saying, like, yeah, but you also don't put in 12 or 14 hours a day. Like, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to drive to an office at 7 so that I can start trading before, so I'm sitting on my computer 45 minutes before the bell rings so that I can, send the scans out, and then I don't leave the office until 7 p.m., so it's like...
Wait, so you have an office to go to?
Yeah, my family has a business, and so I'm done trading at like 3, and I'll keep like after hours running just to see what might be going on for afters and for potentially the next day. But then I work at the family business for a few hours.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for that. Diego, what was that, man? Good to have you on. We also have Diego on. So, does that say Cam the Man?
That says He-Man.
I only read things that says Cam the Man. So, okay. That's cool, dude. That's cool. So, we have Diego on as well. Awesome to hear your story there, Ariel. This is Diego the Bull. So, what's up, man? How are you? It's the first time we've had you on.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, Cam. What's up, Ariel? What's up, Jordan? And what's going on, Cam? It's about time, guys.
Yeah. It is about time. So good to have you on, man. So kind of just, you told me your story, and you can say what you want, but I kind of want to let everyone know kind of about your story and kind of how you've gotten here and how you've just blown up over the past 2 weeks, just like Ariel has, it's just incredible to see everybody start just flipping a switch, I don't know, getting back, just kind of figuring things out and figuring your own plan, your process out. So, good to have you on, though.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's hard to take after Ariel, man. That guy, he's got the spotlight. I love it. I love his energy. Cam, I love your energy too. I can't wait to meet Jordan. So I'm glad to be a part of the team and be a part of, our little circle of team. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
First of all. A little bit about me. Yes, I'm Diego the Bull, and I was a boxer and I was an athlete, and when I used to fight, they'd be like, damn, that guy's a bull. So that's how the name stuck. A little bit about me. I come from a professional background. I was a medical device sales rep, and I got injured, and I think I told you the story, Cam. I got really injured at work a little over a year ago, and so I had been on home sick so I could recover. And during that time, I ended up, I had some money put away in my 401 and whatnot, and I've always been interested in stocks. And the funny thing is, I used to always watch other stock traders, and I'd be like, this is amazing. How do I get into this? And so my story is just like everyone else. I had no clue what I was doing. I had no business in the industry. My first 2 weeks, I lost $18,000 like that. And it was such a rude awakening because I was like a novice. I had no clue, and I just saw people making money. I was like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
It slapped me so hard.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, but we'll go over that in a little bit.
Absolutely, man. That is the biggest blessing that could have ever happened. It stopped me from actually taking any more trades and saying, you know what, I'm an intelligent person. I can figure this out. I tried for 6-7 months. By the way, I started trading in March, end of March, beginning of April, just like Ariel. And I had no clue. And so the knowledge that I had was like YouTube and just like basic knowledge all over the place. I kept trying to trade on my own. And the more I kept trying to trade on my own, I had failure after failure after failure. And it was frustrating. I literally was having moments of just discouraging times where I would be down. And I'm sure everyone can relate, where you're down at $500, that's a lot of money, especially in a time like this. That is so much money, and I would have just horrible days. And I found you on StockTwits, and it was just impressive. I started following you on YouTube, started watching you, and I was like, man, I like this kid. He's super classy. He's well-spoken. He sounds educated. I like what he represents. You remind me of something of me as well, where we just are good people trying to help others out, and that was the biggest passion for me. So I started following you, and I got in your Discord room just like Ariel and everybody else, and I started trading. No luck though, still no luck. No matter how many YouTube videos and how much education I tried on my own, nothing else. And I kept telling myself, what is he doing? What is Cam doing? And it would frustrate me. And I'm sure you guys can attest to this. I wanted to know the secret sauce. And when I would see you come on here and then hit home runs, I'm red. Like
Yeah.
$1,300 down, and then you come on live and you're like, all right, guys, I made $27,000. Like, no way. Like, no way. So, I kept looking at your course. I kept looking at your course. And you know what? The biggest thing that I love that you said that sold me was, you guys, if you're serious about your trading, if you're serious and you want to become the best, then invest in yourself. I'm a college-educated man. My degree's in business management background. I own my own business in marketing. I completely agree. You cannot do something without actually learning from the ground up and building a strong foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't have that in trading, I was losing my ass off. Excuse my language. I was losing horribly.
Mm-hmm.
The money that I spent on your educational videos set the tone to make me realize what I was doing wrong. I was the typical guy, it's running, it's going parabolic, buy into the green candle.
Yeah.
And then, bam, slam me down.
Yeah.
I can tell you that is my story from the get-go.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Jordan. And I was there, and every time I couldn't believe it, because I would get so hyped, and I'm like, it's running, I would buy. And that thing would just crush me.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
And everybody, it's not just you. I've been there. Everybody, 100, whenever we have live, have all been there. We've all been buying those. Now, in the beginning, it's funny because I used to try and buy in 5 or 6 green candles because I was like, oh, the momentum will just keep going. Now I'm the exact opposite. I say I will buy 6 red candles and short 6 green candles. So on the 1 minute, but
that's the biggest seller that you could say, because that is what caught me when I was like, what does he mean buy into the red candle?
I
couldn't figure it out.
Buy the dip.
Right. I couldn't. And when you say buy the dip, I'm like, what's he talking about? I had no clue. So when I bought your program, I literally studied it within, no joke, 3 days. I was night and day in it. I was watching it, and then it blew my mind how I saw you live trade and you make 80,000, 100,000, and it just, at that point, I knew I had something, because I said, this kid's got it, I got it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because I believe in myself, and I know the success I've had, I literally did everything that I could, and the moment that I saw you live trading and you bought a red candle, because I watched that video over and over, and you said, I'm going to buy shares here, I'm buying more shares, and there you go. I literally saw you buy red candles, and that's when my first experience with that. And it has changed the way I trade from now on, and I never buy green. I always buy the dip, and biggest change for me, it has taught me about support, resistance. Going back to what has made me successful, in the last week has been my most profitable week ever. I will tell you, I was down big, and I think I messaged you and I told you, hey man, I don't know what to do. I'm going to quit trading. I told Ariel the same thing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to quit trading. I go big because I have the capital for it.
Yeah.
And that's probably the worst thing you can do when you have money, is to trade with size. So I scaled back, and I had a conversation with Ariel 2 or 3, and we come up with a game plan, and I stuck to it. I'm back. I came back big, heavy sized, and profitable. And it was the turning point of my career. I made $78,600 this week.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. That's good shit. I like it. That's awesome, man.
Big boom.
Yeah,
Baby.
wait, so and I want to kind of cover that. So that's exactly the same situation I was in a way. You were older than me, and you had a lot more capital than me when you first started. But I want to kind of cover that. It sounds like we were in a similar situation when, you're talking about how you had lost a lot and you were down big and you kept digging yourself in a hole, and then you told Ariel or whoever, and you told me you're thinking about quitting. And that's exactly, I don't know if you've heard this or heard me say this, but my story goes like that. It's like I was down, I was fortunate. I think, I don't know, I had 15 to 20,000 coming out of college just because I saved. I was super frugal and never really spent a dime. I would always try and find a way to make some kind of dollar. And Jordan can attest to my frugal self. But and so, you know, losing about half my net worth and literally telling everyone, you know, I was going to quit trading and like kind of like having my back against the wall. It sounds like that's kind of where you were at. And ever since that day of me having my back against the wall, telling people I was going to quit and then not quitting, feeling like I was a gambler, feeling like I was like doing this and going to potentially like change my life to a bad scenario forever and not be able to come out of it, I just wasn't going to have it. I wasn't going to allow it. Like I knew myself. I knew that I could do better. I knew that it just wasn't me, you know? And so that from that day going forward, when I told everybody I was going to quit, that's when I roughly, you know, never looked back. You know, when I started that 1,000 to a million challenge, and I think it was August 31st, 2017, that's when things changed for me, and I've never looked back since. So for all you guys out there listening, you know, sometimes and that's why I said a blessing in disguise when we lost $18,000. You know, I think one of the biggest, and it sucks to say it, but one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of new traders make when they make these big home run trades, they can crush themselves and never come back forever because they think it's so easy. And they might make it to a couple of green days when they start off, and then all of a sudden they don't know what it's like to lose. And when you start losing, it's more reality. When you start winning, it's not reality, right? Anybody can make more money and it not be reality because that's all sunshine and rainbows. But when you have nothing left, then you're going to have reality hit you. When you have gains, when you have profits, reality is not a thing because we just don't live it as traders. But on the flip side, you can lose everything depending on what your risk is, how much size you're trading, and how smart you are with your risk reward. You know, like you say, you're using a lot of money and a lot of capital because you have it, and that's great. And some people do, some people don't. But it comes down to what I always say, and looking back, is if you're trading with 5 to 10 times the amount, like if you have an account, let's say $1,000, you can blow that up 10 times and not financially feel it, then that's kind of the amount that I would look for talking to my old self and being like, hey, back in the day, I wish that I would have done that. Because, you know, I kept sizing up and kept sizing up and kept sizing up to a point where I lost half my net worth. And I could have changed that by a simple saying of, you know, being able to lose 5 to 10 times the amount and still be financially not feel it at all. But then let's say if that 8th or 9th or 10th or 11th time you're going, and now all of a sudden you build on those strategies. You go from $100 to down to $50, and then all of a sudden you're back up to $70 and $90, and here you go. And now you're climbing and proving your strategies work. On top of that, you're compound growing your account as well, and finally proving to yourself that you can trade with size and continue to grow with the size as you continue to prove to yourself that strategy works. So. That's awesome, Diego. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good to hear from you, man. I can't believe it's our first time, but more to come. And congrats on your success. It's $78,000. I'm so happy for you, man. And let's make 2021, all three of us, better than last year. And I'm more than stoked, especially now that I can short. I can't even tell you how much I'm excited about the new chapter for me. But Jordan, it's your time to shine, man. We've been talking. It's all on you now, all right? It's up to you to take the show away, okay? So now we got Jordan on. He's also an educator, and he's a small little friend. I don't really talk to him much, and I don't know. He's an all right guy at best, but take it away, Chipotle date.
Well, first off, like, congrats to Ariel and Diego. Like, that's awesome. Whenever I hear of other people's success, like, I'm just so stoked for just building absolute monsters in our room. So, first off, like, kind of congrats to you guys. But yeah, man, this year was pretty weird. Going into this year, I did not expect this at all. Truthfully, my goal this year, so all of 2019, I made like $6,500 for the entire year, and
you're good.
So all of 2019, I made like $6,500. I started trading at the very end of 2017, and I was just part-time in 2018 working at a local gym of mine, grinding along stuff a little bit. But then end of 2018, my girlfriend broke up with me, and at that point I wasn't in college. I wasn't really hanging out with any friends. I pretty much all my friends that I had were connected with my girlfriend, so that was completely severed off because I already was kind of away from my prior friend group. So all of 2019, I mean, I had literally just nothing. I had nothing but the gym and trading pretty much. And so 2019, like the biggest grind of my life with 12, 14-hour days. I mean, it was getting ridiculous. And it'd take and like, dude, a couple days off, because he would see me like, pretty much what I was doing is I was making all these spreadsheets by hand and stuff like that with like probably 30 different entries every single day, and it was a grind. It's the hardest I've ever worked by far. I probably put in more work in 2019 than all of school combined our career.
I can almost honestly say Jordan's put in more time than me today. That guy is a grinder.
So, I mean, I appreciate that, but maybe not. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll make a spreadsheet about, how much time we're spending on the computer.
Yeah. There you go. You're good at the spreadsheet, but anyway.
Hey, I got Spiky now, so I can do it all automated, so I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so 2019 was a smooth P&L curve, but all I focused on was percentages because I know that's what Cam preaches, so I made like 6.5K. And starting this year, I mean, I can run through each month.
Yeah, let's do that.
January, I made $800. 874 in January, 500 in February, 1,400 in March, and then April was my breakout. April, I made 80K. So pretty much what happened back in April, and like if anyone like was in at the time and they saw like all of a sudden I went from like my average green day was like $200 for the entire year, and then all of a sudden I made 10K in a day. So pretty much what happened was on I can't believe I'm telling the story, but so on sub 50 cent, Ariel's already laughing.
You might as well.
Back in April, we were seeing a lot of like sub 50 cent market stocks start running, and I was noticing, and I think like Tops, which ran from like maybe like 8 cents all the way up to like 40. I think that's what set it off. It was something like that. It was some bottom bouncer. And pretty much what I noticed was getting filled on sub 50 cent stocks is that on a certain brokerage, it would provide price corrections by a half a cent. And so if you ever notice, like sometimes you'll market buy and you'll get filled at $2.10 and a half. And so pretty much what happened was back in April, those algos were still providing liquidity to the midpoint across a 1 cent spread on a 50 cent stock. And so on April, it was like the beginning of April on that day, I made about 5,000 trades.
And he's not kidding. He's not kidding at all. I saw it.
All right. Well, total executions between cancels and fills was around 9,000. And so pretty much I did what you always hear of these guys back in 2008, 2009, 2010. Back when algorithmic trading started, there was a lot of inefficient algos in the market back in the early 2010s. And you hear of a lot of these prop firm guys trading for, they would be able to go through a dark pool and on a bid and get hit by Citibank or Morgan Stanley, whatever, for 5,000 shares, and then instantly be able to flip it on the app, and also get hit because there's inefficient algorithm. That's exactly what I did. And so, long story short, in about 7 trading, 72 grand. From that point on, I went on a 76-day green streak, and completely changed everything about how I approached the market after seeing a stock move only 5 cents on the day, and I was making, if we're talking, I was making about 100% on the stock in a day plus, maybe 200% because I was taking average $5,000 positions. It completely changed everything that I have ever thought about market structure and how to approach trading, and so that's why I've completely dived deep into scalping now.
with these extremely high liquid names like BNGO, EBOX, EBT, like even sympathy plays like DJIA. And I just never looked back from there. And this month was my best month ever at 84.5K. I made a PR day this month as well on Monday, which was 15.3K. And now pretty much what I do is my bulk of my strategy now is scalping very crowded, high volume stocks that I can easily get fills on for 10, 15 cent scalps. And then when my conviction plays come in with what Cameron teaches with sympathy plays, then I size into those and I go for more plays, which is what resulted in my PR day and also a 13K day and a 12K. So this year was again super unexpected. It was a super wild ride, but you know, I really couldn't be happier with this year, and this is only the beginning. Got some big goals for 2021, as do all of us. So yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah, and we're all kind of going in the right direction. I mean, we all had a killer month. You know, this month is definitely growing and going to continue to help us going into 2021. But we're closing the year off with solid PRs, solid highs. All of us kind of are doing that, which is a good sign. So how much did you make this year, Jordan, in total?
Well, first off, so the strategy that I talked about back in April, it's done. That they do not provide liquidity on stocks anymore.
Yeah, I wonder who made that happen.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to ruin, like, it's like I'm probably gonna get like 10 DMs of people, or 20 or 50 DMs of people asking me about it. Trust me, it's an inefficiency strategy, and inefficiency strategies go away extremely quickly. So it literally lasted a week, but I pulled 70K from that strategy, and then it literally just died. And you guys have seen all like my monthly reviews. I was not making it like that much, you know, month over month. It was like 40, 60, and it steadily grinded up from there. But on the year, I'm up about 450. I started with, you know, the 1K in the beginning of the year, so you know, I really couldn't be happier. So yeah.
So yeah, Jordan is up almost $500,000 this year. I mean, congrats, man. That is insane. That, like, cheers to you and my non-alcoholic beverage. Maybe tonight when I get the Azul going. But yeah, no, man, that's an insane year. I think everybody should congratulate him for that, because I mean, I remember sitting in the hot tub and, you know, just all those Chipotle dates, and as weird as it sounds, I mean, it's definitely helped both of us. Not just you, but both of us, you know, bouncing ideas, talking things through. Could I have seen you with $500,000 at the end of the year? Honestly, I could. You know, what I said you could do it, yeah. What I think you could do it, I don't know. I mean, that's insane. That is absolutely insane from $1,000. I mean, sure, you were trading with, I don't know what it was, like 10,000, or I don't know how you did it exactly, but
In the year, I did my Thinkorswim account with 26K, and I mean, I have all my trades tracked, so I never surpassed that main buying power. So what I would do per day, actually have a sizing calculator right here on my chart. So whatever my account is at, so let's say it was at like 27,000, I would change this every day to like $2,000 position, so I can change it to automatically like calculate for me.
yeah.
I don't have to like think about it, and so yeah, I never surpassed like 1K in actual position sizing for the year, but yeah, I did fund it with 20K. But again, I mean, I can all every trades, and it was always like respecting the account limit. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, congrats to you, dude, and dude, let's just keep it up, man. Let's just keep grinding. Let's just keep pushing until there is no limit. There's no reason for any of us to stop. I'm not gonna stop. Jordan's not gonna stop. It doesn't matter. P&L means nothing to me. It's about it doesn't mean nothing, but it means it's just a big goal that I continue to just push for, and it's like a never-ending goal that we continue to just reach for, because I think that is what keeps you going. So
Cam, my mom always says, son, why don't you get off the computer? Why don't you call it a day when you're up 1,000 or up 2,000 or up whatever? And I tell her all the time, Mom, it's not about the money. I'm treating this like a career. I said, this has nothing to do with money. I said, I'm trying to be a good trader. I said, and if I'm a good trader and I exercise good trades, the money will come. I said, so if I'm up $2,000 right now, it just means that I've done my job well so far. But my day isn't over.
Yeah.
Right? And today's a perfect example. I mean, I was down like $3,000 today, then back to break even, then down 2,000, then up, and it only took one good trade to clean up the whole day. But again, the point is I'm trying to be a good trader, and I'm not worried about the money. The money will follow if you do your job well. That's, my attitude towards it. And I feel like if I keep that attitude, the P&L will be there.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I couldn't agree more. Ariel and I had talked about this before, and I'll kind of add something to that. Like, I think, and me and Cameron have talked about this as well, like, it's almost more important to go through losing than it is winning, because I can tell you, I mean, you guys saw me in September, October, and November. I didn't make any day per month, because it was the first that mark where I had to start learning how to lose. I was still looking at -500 or -1,000, like, unrealized, and so I would just be panicking when it slowed down. Having not seen any of that red, it took me 3 months, and now for this month, I think all of us, we, between, Diego and Ariel and myself, all just hit kind of mental breakthroughs, which is even more important, because we finally just said, and I'm sorry for cursing, but we finally just said, fuck it. Like, we're tired of dealing with the money aspect of trading. And once you really disconnect yourself from the money aspect, that's when, like, the real trading starts, because it's constantly trading for cash, and you constantly are thinking about, the money every single time you're in a trade. You're always going to out on the green and the red. Like, it's both sides of the coin. So seeing, like, I took some of my biggest losses ever this month too, but for what? For a PR month, Ariel, PR month, Diego, PR week and PR month, so I think that building off of those losses and learning how to lose is something that's really important. And, I never really went through any huge drawdowns like Diego. You lost 18K right from the start. I know Cam lost half his net worth back in the day. For me, it was like the biggest struggle was learning how to lose, because I was so risk adverse for so long. And give me a break. I mean, it was like free money when I started that breakout back in April. So it was completely different, as opposed to like price action trading and like sympathy plays. There's nothing else to it but just algos, pretty much. So I think that learning how to lose and allocating that risk and really feeling those losses and going through those emotions. Just Ariel talked with me on chat the other day. A great saying is like, you're putting a callus on your emotions, right? So every time that you see more and more red P, you're going to be more prepared for the green. It's 100% both sides of the coin. That was one of the big takeaways for me this month. Just not caring. Not, okay, 2K, I don't give a shit. I'm just on, know it's right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I know it's going to pay 8 times out of 10. Side.
Well, Jordan, I wanted to cover one thing real quick. Remember how we were talking about that, how we were talking about how, like, you're never going to do what I do because your risk is so low that you can't see the other side of it?
Yep.
So, kind of explain that to people, because it's an important thing to understand when you're trading. Is the more risk, the more reward. But I like the conversation that we had. So.
Yeah. So over time, we've always talked. So, little backstory. I've known Cameron since I was like a sophomore in high school, and you were a senior. That's when we started becoming friends.
Yeah, back when I was better than you at golf. Yeah.
Yeah. He wishes.
Still am, by the way.
I'd school both of you guys in golf.
Yeah, let's do a long drive.
Hey, we play the full 18.
A long drive. Yeah, okay. Jordan might beat us on long drive because someone was like literally scouting him out for a long drive. like or I don't even know what it was, semi-professionally. But anyways, go ahead.
So I've known Cameron for a while now, so I never had to watch his DVD, or I never bought the DVD or anything like that, because I mean, we hang out on a weekly basis. We're really good friends, really close, and so we've talked so many times about the fact that I wasn't really taking on a bunch of risk, and it was like Cameron kept saying, he was like, dude, the best thing that you can do is just take a huge loss.
It sounds crazy, but it's true.
Yeah, and it was when I was a big conversation was when I was struggling in September, October, and November. That's when we talked about it a lot. But we've been talking about this forever now. Like, even in 2019, he was like, dude, you just need to take a huge loss. Yeah, go ahead, Diego. I saw you were about to say something. Oh, okay. But yeah, and so the point of taking those big losses and kind of feeling those emotions is that, so every single big successful trader has taken really big losses. I mean, Tim Grattani with losing on CANF minus 220K or whatever. Guy Gentile losing his ass on Tesla. Cameron losing his ass in the very beginning. I can go on and on and on. Even Steven Ducks was down 90% unrealized on a first start 50K account. So, and look at those guys now. I mean, they're all absolute monsters, right? And even Shark from Capital, he lost on KBIO. When KBIO came out, Australia was in their company or whatever, he ended up losing 350K. And time again, you always biggest, baddest traders going huge loss. I'm a firm believer, and Cam's the exact same way, that you have to feel those low emotions to learn from it. But it's gonna best preparation for the green after that, because if you know what it's like to feed and lose, 3K or 5K in a day, or 10K in a day, then the next time you see 5K green, you're not going to freak out like you would have if you didn't take that loss. Because you've gone through that emotional scarring, and again, you're trying to callous your emotions pretty much. So putting on that risk, it's a double-edged sword, right? No one really wants to go through it. I mean, even for myself, this year, the biggest drawdown this year was around 1.5%. I mean, I drew down 5.3K, and I'm 415. So even for me, you look at the drawdown Cameron, and it's around 15%. And I've even seen in the very beginning of his account challenges, he'll draw down 50%. I remember his very first account, RCON. Remember this, but I do. RCON, he drew his account down from 4.8 down to 2.7. The next day it hits 5.4K. The next day it hits 8.6K. We all know the story. I mean, that's the next week he made 15. The next week after that was 30, and then he could 25K in a day. So going through that pain really prepares you for the reward. I'm a huge believer in that. I'm prepared to take on the pain going forward in order to hit the goals that I want. But that's a huge thing if you're trying to develop as a trade.
One of the things that I wanted to add to that too, Jordan, this is Diego. Well, I took a huge loss about a month ago, and I can relate with all the big traders. I'm not that big. I trade with straight size, but what the biggest learning process of that huge loss was an emotional breakthrough that I had. I literally almost walked away. I gave up trading for 3 straight days. I sat on the couch and just stared into nothing. I didn't watch TV. I was just so upset. I messaged Cam and I said, I don't know what to do. I've just blown my account. And I talked to Ariel. I said, I'm done. I was cursing up every word. The emotional breakthrough that I had, though, on the 3rd day was what did I do wrong? That whole experience allowed me to search deep and figure out what I did wrong. And then I said, 1, I'm over trading. 2, I'm going in with too much size, and blah, blah, blah. I went down the list of all the things I did wrong. Mm-hmm. I came back with so small. I went from thousands of shares to $500 size. And it was the game changer for me that now I'm up $78,000 this week, because what happened was I started waiting for charts to come to me. I no longer overtraded. I no longer just traded to trade. And that was the aha moment. I saw someone ask a question, what was the aha moment? It was the fact that I started to see the charts play out the same every single day, and I knew I had mastered a specific setup that I love. And when I post my P&Ls at the end of the day, you guys are impressed. It's only because I trade 2 or 3 stocks a day, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I do not overtrade. I stick to the ones that I know, the highest volatility. I learned that from Jordan. And the biggest thing that I learned from Cam was just patience. I started taking dips, and I would hold on to them for 3 or 4 hours. And one $500 small entry like that catapulted to $3,000 in one trade. And then I doubled that. And then I doubled that. And it just changed the entire mindset. I knew I was doing wrong, but I didn't recognize it until I took that loss. When I took that loss, it was the biggest aha moment I have ever had, because taking a massive loss hurts and you're just like, oh, I'm done. But it is literally the moment. At that point, again, I learned the charts. I saw my setups. I saw exactly the setups that Cam sees and Ariel sees and Jordan sees. And I was like, these are the 3 charts that I like. And that's it. I'm not trading anything unless they look like this. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah. And those 3 days that you had to sit down and reflect, I think, were huge, because you basically, that was the make or break right there. Those 3 days, it wasn't just like I lost a couple bucks, or I'm kind of just doing this and doing that. It was like, okay, turned everything off. What have I done? And that's the same thing with me, NGTI. I sat down, I quit for like a while, and I was like, what have I done? How did I buy it 560 and get stuck holding it overnight and end up selling it at like 240? It's because I didn't know what I was doing. But now, like, the beauty of it is, like, going back and having all this experience and having all these strategies, I would have been there to short it and long it. I'm at that point in my career where I would feel comfortable shorting it and longing it, because that setup was so obvious. But I didn't know that back in the day, because 1, I didn't have a plan, a process, strategy. 2, I didn't put in the time. The effort is what it takes. And 3, I didn't sit back and look at what I was doing wrong. All I was trying to do was try and make money. What can I do to make a couple dollars here and here and here? No, I go into every trade, how much can I lose? Everything changed when I said, how much can I lose going into every trade, rather than how much can I win? But anyways, guys, it's been good to have you guys on. We've been on here for like an hour and a half. I gotta get ready for, having a little Azul tonight and maybe see a couple friends, but we'll and who knows, Jordan might be in the mix, but it's been awesome to have you guys on. It's awesome to hear your guys' story, and it's awesome to kind of see your guys' successes, because you can't take it for granted, because there's a lot of people out there, 90% of people who, every day I have to remind myself, there's people in the room struggling, and there's people in the trading community that just aren't making it. And that's the thing, is like, you just got to work hard. If you want this, it's up to you. It's not up to anyone else. No one's waking any of you guys up. No one's saying, I'm not messaging any one of you guys saying, hey, you guys got to do this and that. I'm not bossing you guys around. You guys are doing it because you want to do it. You guys are doing it because you love it. You guys are doing it because you're driven, you're motivated, and you have big goals for the end of your life. And that's what it takes. You got to ask yourself, everybody out there listening, you got to ask yourself, do you want to make 2021 a different year for yourself? Do you want to change it? I realize that money isn't everything, but money is every day, I go throughout life and I realize more and more, like, if first of all, if it wasn't for money, we wouldn't have structure. We wouldn't have doctors, lawyers, attorneys, and all these things that make life go around. It's just, how do you create your opportunity? Mike Trout, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, they all found their avenues. And guess what? They grinded it into the ground until they couldn't grind it anymore, and they're the best in the world at what they do. But that's because they love it. That's because they've worked so hard for it. That's because at that point, you don't really care about the money. The money will come, just like Ariel said. The money will come if you love what you do, if you work hard at it. Like I used to think that these gamers, it was crazy they were making millions. But that's the thing now. Everybody knows they can make tens of millions of dollars just gaming. And that's just one avenue in life. It's just about finding what you love to do and then grinding it. And like somebody said that in chat, I was like, you only have to be good at one thing in this world and just perfect that. And then everything else will take care of itself. My real estate agent, when I was buying my house, he made a funny joke. And it was like, and he started realizing, he was like, maybe you could do some lawn work, and maybe you can do some of the upkeep in the house, and maybe you can, try and remodel some of the flooring. And then he was like, wait, like, this doesn't make any sense because you can just pay everyone to do that. It's not worth your time because opportunity costs. I'm losing so much money, not doing my job to where, and not only that, but I can employ people to do that, and I'm creating jobs for other people. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win, and that's about anything in life is just...
Well, your greatest commodity, Cam, is your time. And you're exchanging your time, right, for your gift, which is trading.
Yeah.
And that gift is providing you income, which then you're turning around and giving it to other people. I tell my stepdad all the time, he's like a 65-year-old man, he's a foot surgeon, has his own surgical practice all the time. I catch him bullshitting around the house, fixing this, that, mowing the lawn. And I ask, and by the way, he's got an $8 million portfolio that he started funding back in the 90s, but he bought Apple way, way back when. He's made about $4 million on Apple.
That's insane. I've always wanted to meet people who have shares of all these old companies. It's really low.
Yeah. He's got 24,000 shares of Apple from way back when. He's up about $4 million on just Apple alone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
set it and forget it works too, folks.
I always find them, bullshitting around the house, and I always say, I said, you're a surgeon, dude. You're a doctor. Like let somebody else mow your lawn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do what makes you money. Do what makes you money. Exchange your time, and then the rest of your time, spend with your family. Enjoy your time off. Relax.
Yeah.
Take a vacation. You in particular, Cam, shouldn't be landscaping. Shouldn't be doing.
I love cutting grass, so that might be my thing. But other than that, I'm not gonna. You might see me out at 5:30 a.m. cutting grass before market open. We'll see.
Hey Cam, I got a question for you though, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this. Have you seen Vikings? Because you look like Ivar.
People say, well, I haven't got that one. I've gotten a different one.
Ivar the Boneless. I'm not sure if anyone's seen it, but
I have seen the Vikings.
What's it called?
His name's Ivar the Boneless.
Boneless?
Ivar, A-I-V-A-R, the Boneless. He's a character on the Vikings.
Bro, Cam was to think that people think that you look like Taylor Lautner.
Hey, man, I got a free Taco Bell meal. Literally, they go, hey, is that Taylor Lautner? And I was like, no way. No, I have no idea who this guy was. They gave me this free food, and I'm like, Taylor Lautner? And then they freaked out, thought I was Taylor Lautner, and they threw this food at me. And I drove away. Then I looked him up. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not him at all.
The great is Oliver the Boneless. He's a model. It's just a compliment.
Bro,
Okay.
It's bigger than his paper trades because he is Cam the Scam.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows Cam the Scam. Cam the Scam at your service. So, but yeah.
Dude, that's not the case.
But yeah, well, it's been good to have you guys on. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys are doing anything tonight, but enjoy whatever you got going.
Italian dinner, baby. Italian dinner.
Yeah, there you go. Just kind of, reflect on the year, and let's all be blessed for what we do, because we're not living reality, and then let's go back and hit it like we always hit it on Monday. So nothing's changing. It's just a new year. But the opportunities will always be there. So.
Yep, absolutely. Wait for the next good setup, guys.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for everybody coming on. I'm gonna.
Happy
So
New Year,
good to
guys.
meet you, Diego. Good to see you on again, Ariel, Jordan. I'll
sir.
see you soon, sweetie. And we'll go from there. Okay.
All right. Hey, check your P.O. box.
Oh yeah. So here's a funny thing. So I hope that it works because the P.O. box, we didn't get any alert, but I guess somehow it got they stopped it or whatever. But we re-upped it today, so hopefully it still came in. I don't know. We'll have to keep in touch, but we'll get it. And we're sending that as well, so we'll go from there. But I'll let you know.
Happy New Year, man.
Yep, Happy New Year to you guys.
Jordan, Cam, Diego, nice to see you guys.
Yep.
Much love, guys.
Let's make 2021 killer. I hope to see you guys crushing it in 2021, all right?
Yes, sir. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, later, guys.
Later, guys.
Okay, yeah, you guys are catching a little bit of my fun side. But yeah. So if you guys don't already know, 35% off my course. Those guys, Diego, Ariel, all course students. Jordan knows the way I trade better than anyone, probably better than myself. So feel free to check that out. 30% off my scanners. And yeah, guys, enjoy the new year. Let's make 2021 the best year that we can. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep grinding. Happy New Year to everyone listening here at NormagnolTrading.com. I hope you guys stay safe tonight. And just make sure to just enjoy tonight with family, friends, or whatever you can enjoy it with. And let's just be blessed for what we have and just continue to go forward in life as best as we can. So, all right, guys, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate every one of you guys supporting the NormagnolTrading.com community, and I look forward to seeing you guys in 2021. It gives me the chills just saying that. Like, the year's a wrap. What a year. What a year, guys. I never would have thought I would have made almost $7 million this year, and mainly all from $1,000. Turned 1,000 into $5.3 million in 261 business days. It's surreal. I literally bought a house today. I wrote a check for $2.4 million. I bought the house cash. I'm blessed, guys. I'm blessed, and there's nothing else to say it, but I want you guys to be in my shoes, and that's why I come on here every day, to motivate you guys, to push you guys to take it to the next level. Hopefully to learn from all of us, Diego, Jordan, me, all the, Joss, man, 19 birdies, Fallen Omega, and Ariel, all of us. I want you guys to be able to enjoy life and not have to worry about financial troubles, and just take that, I think it's like 70% of divorce end up in financial problems, and it's just like, let's just take that financial side off, and we can just do good in trading and then not have to worry about the financial problems in life, and then whatever else comes, family, friends, just enjoy life, right? So I hope that I've been able to help you in some way, shape, or form over the years, guys. And again, my course teaches you guys my strategies and how I turned 1,000 into now over $5.3 million and 261 business days is on my website. Let's make 2021 the best year that we can. The biggest mistake I ever made was not investing in my education. But going back, I'm here now, and I've probably spent about $8,000 to $9,000 in my education and chat rooms over the years. And I will continue to do that. If Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos come on here, if they come on and make a course to learn how they got there, Elon Musk, I would buy that for $100,000, $200,000, no problem. I'm always wanting to learn. I'm always wanting to get better. And, I have no problem paying for good material. So, I appreciate every one of you guys. Let's have a great New Year's, okay? All right, guys. I appreciate every one of you guys. I can't believe it's over. It's hard for me to get off here because next thing you know, it's 2021. So, I appreciate you guys. And as always, okay, stay safe. And as always, cheers, team, and... Anyone gonna finish it? Cheers, team, and... There we go. Batman Butler, the first one. Go Hawks. All right. Anyways, guys, cheers, team, and go Hawks.